Welcome to Business Talk. Today we're going to meet with one of the leading figures in the branding industry in the Arab world and Saudi Arabia. He has over 20 years of experience and has authored the first Arab books in branding. Hi, how are you doing today?
Good, how are you?
Can you tell us more about yourself?
Sure. First of all, thank you for interviewing me in that
Thank you for having us.
nice program. Okay, my name is Ziad Organji. I'm a brand consultant and founder of Brandship Consultancy, Jeddah, Dubai. And also I'm an author of the first Arabic branding books, as you mentioned. And yeah, this is my 20th year in the field of branding. Usually we build brands from scratch or rebrand any existing brands in the market. Mainly we put the strategies, and this is my passion, is how to build brands the right way.
So you mentioned that this is your passion. If you don't mind me asking, how did this start? How did you figure out that you want to go into branding?
Well, that was a very long time back when I was in the high school, and I traveled to the US, and the whole story started from there, where I've discovered that there is something called graphic design. Yeah, a long time back, we didn't have any clue about graphic design. I'm an artist by nature, and that's why I wanted to follow my passion of continuing the art side of me. Unfortunately, I didn't find the opportunity to study graphic design in Saudi Arabia. None of basically the universities or colleges used to have this knowledge, or they don't teach it as well. Honestly, and then after that I decided to go into fine arts. So I studied fine arts for my bachelor, and then I studied my MBA, Master of Business Administration, when I decided to open my first business.
Okay. So I like that you said you're an artist, and many entrepreneurs start as something other than business owners, but they always fail to give much thought to branding. So can you tell us what is a brand and why is it so important?
Okay, the old assumption of a brand is that it's a logo and it's a design. That's all what they know about it. And I've been in the market for a long time, seeing that and hearing this. I'm trying to change the perception about what is brand and what is branding. And the logo part is just a small part of the brand. People used to, they just tell you, just design me a logo, give me a logo, and that's their brand. And we tried so many times and hardly to change this, and we succeeded, I guess. So far, the market also have changed. And yeah, the brand, when we talk about the brand, a brand is an idea. When you talk about an idea, it's something that is unique. So what you remember about any brand I'm going to mention to you, any let's say international brand, if I'm going to tell you any name, you're going to have a perception in your head. So an idea about this brand. So when we start building brands, we talk about the idea of that brand. Then we move into the perceptions that we need to build. The visual identity, the look and feel, everything comes later. What we need to start with is building the brand strategy, and then we kick off our brand. And of course, that's what was missing.
So it's a very important process. It's not just one design, it's not just one look, it's an entire process, as you mentioned. And you mentioned earlier that you're based in Jeddah and Dubai. So you have not just an outreach in Saudi Arabia, the Gulf and the Arab world, I understand.
Yes, alhamdulillah, we have this. And of course, through my books as well, I've traveled around the Arab world and also in the United States, giving lectures about what is brand, what is branding. And it's called Think Branding. This is my initiatives. This is my CSR, if you can call it. It's Think Branding, changing the perceptions about what is brand, what is branding. I started this in 2010.
And how did you come about authoring the first or one of the few Arabic books in branding?
Well, the passion drove me basically to do that. And because of, as I said before, in the Arab world, we don't have enough content, and we don't have maybe content about branding in Arabic. That's why the perception of logos started to let's say, manipulate the market. However, it started with my story with the Apple designer. I met Mr. Rob Janov. He's the Apple designer. He designed the Apple logo, identity, and everything. I went to Chicago and I did the first Arabic interview with him. And it's in my first book. You can find it with pictures and images. And I was really inspired by, no, now I need to write my book, definitely. Because that guy said one story that really triggers me, which is, he said, I started graphic design long time back before designing the Apple logo. So you can imagine that Apple logo was designed by hand, not by computer. Yeah, he designed it by hand. He used to study graphic design 10 years back. Then, before 77, he used to study graphic design in New York by hand. Okay, you can imagine that. So we have this knowledge existing in the world before even 77, 10 years ahead, 10 years back. So you can imagine how many years now.
Wow.
And it just started here in 10 years back, 12 years back. So that's what actually triggers me to write the books. No, the Arab world needs it. My people needs it, honestly.
Okay, that's truly an amazing accomplishment. Now, where do you see the future of branding in Saudi Arabia is heading, and where is Brandship in that vision?
I believe that the perception about brands and branding have changed. A lot of the new generation people are well educated, well traveled. They know very much about branding, the importance of that, and they believe in it. And I feel that the future of Saudi Arabia is all about now creating businesses, creating jobs, creating new ideas, new concepts. Even the kingdom itself, all the big projects in the kingdom, the Red Sea project, Qiddiya project, Neom project, it's all about building a strong destinations and brands. These are landmarks of Saudi Arabia. It's going to be one of the landmarks, of course, after Al-Haramain, the holy mosques. But yeah, the direction is moving there.
So can you tell us more about the struggles that you've faced in the field, being the CEO of Brandship?
It's basically making people understand and believe in what we do, and making people believe in the brand strategy needs. They have business strategies that they're following, but they also need to complement it with a brand strategy and to think out of the box in terms of the business, transforming the business into a brand. This is the main thing that maybe we struggled to, but we succeeded, alhamdulillah. We struggled a little bit in the beginning with some of the companies, just to make them understand that, okay, you have a business strategy, but you need a brand strategy as well. Both will work together and will create your brand name.
So branding, is it a critical thing for the success and failure of a business?
Well, we can't say it's critical, but it's very important. People can live without it, yes, of course, but is it good for what we have today in the market and the challenges that we have? No. You need to have a strong brand, strong name, otherwise you're going to be out.
And do you have any pieces of advice or tips for new entrepreneurs? When should they start branding? How much of a priority should they give it?
I think for the entrepreneurs, they should start with a great business strategy. First of all, they need to understand the market very well, the consumers and themselves very well. Then they can basically go into building the brand strategy in a basic way, let's say. Until they grow up, then they can have a full-fledged brand strategy again.
We've learned so much by being here today. Thank you so much for having us,
Thank you
and thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, my pleasure.
Thank you for tuning in for our final episode of the season, Business Talk. Don't forget to subscribe.